Can you tell me why you came?
Yes. I've been living with my mother, and she found out about a relationship that I'm having with a man. He's a married man with children, and she felt that I needed to come and talk to you.
Have you ever talked with a psychiatrist before you came to see me?
No.
Never
No.
been in a psychiatric hospital?
No.
Having an affair may or may not be a good idea, but it's usually not something people come and talk to psychiatrists about. Can you tell me why you're seeing me?
Well, my mother does not believe that this relationship is mutual, that he loves me as much as I love him. And I really need some help in convincing her that this is a real important relationship and that it's a good relationship, a two-way relationship.
That's very important to you, certainly. And what's the relationship like?
Well, it is somewhat difficult. Could I tell you how we met?
Please do. Please do.
I haven't really had an opportunity to talk about this because this person is a well-known local disc jockey. About 2 years ago, I was in a mall, and he was there signing autographs, pictures, for people. And he caught my eye, and I went over to him, and he signed an autograph for me, and he took my hand in both of his and looked into my eyes longer than he did any other woman there. And he said to me...
He took other women's hands, but yours was a little special.
Right, right. And he said to me when he handed me the picture, "This is for you."
I see.
Well, that was the code word from then on, that he could get information to me. Because we really couldn't meet. He, like I said, he's married, he has 2 children. And we had to be very careful that no one find out about the relationship.
Let me ask a kind of specific question. Have the two of you met at all since you saw him in the mall?
Well, no, of course not. I mean, we just can't do that. We can't do that. Not meet where people could see us.
Have you talked directly with him since you saw him in the mall?
Well, no, not directly, but he, like I said, he communicates with me by, when he wants to, on the radio. He'll have a song, and right before that song, he'll say, "This is for you," and I'll know that that's for me.
That's a special feeling, isn't it?
It really is.
Do you communicate with him?
Yes, I do. I write him every day. I write him a letter. I don't put any return address, and sometimes I'll type it, the envelope. Sometimes I'll disguise the handwriting, because it's real important that the people there at the station don't know what's happening.
May I pry a little bit and ask what kinds of things you tell him in the letters?
Well, I just tell him how I feel about him and how I know he feels about me, and that not to worry, that I am waiting, that I'm going to wait, that I know it's going to take time.
Does it trouble you that apparently he hasn't answered any of your letters or called you, even when maybe he was able to do it without anyone knowing?
Oh, he has, though. He does it on the radio. I told you we have that signal, but the thing that I'm sure he's concerned about is someone at the station might intercept the letters and would know.
But it seems to me, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but it seems to me that at some point he might be able at least to give you a telephone call.
Well, I think that would be very difficult with his busy schedule, and then having the wife and the children.
Let me ask you some other questions that psychiatrists usually ask people. And I've asked you some of them before, I know. Have you ever had the experience of hearing or seeing things that other people couldn't see? For example, voices or noises?
Oh, no.
Okay. Have you ever had this falling in love experience before with someone similar, or is this a new thing for you?
Well, of course I've fallen in love with other people before, but this is the first time it has been reciprocated this way, in the depth.
Okay. Your health is good?
Yes.
No particular problems?
No.
I know that you had a pretty thorough physical examination not long ago, complete with x-rays and CAT scans.
Right.
That was all negative, is that right?
Right. And the only time I ever miss school is if I'm you know, if he's got an appearance somewhere and I need to be there, you know, that's the only time that I'll miss school.
So you will travel to see him in a public appearance?
Well, of course.
Like that.
Of course, I try to be supportive as possible, to let him know that I am there.
Does he know that you're there, or do you just suspect that he knows?
Well, I'm sure he must know. You know, I write him and tell him I'm there, that I'll try to be there.
In other parts of your life, at school, for example, you teach the kids, do you participate in some of the extracurricular activities that school teachers do?
Well, no, not really. Not really. I go to school, I teach, I come home. I mean, my mother's at home, and you know, I just come home.
Have you ever lived by yourself? Is there any particular reason that you're still living with your mother?
Well, actually, I left home when I got married, and that was the first time. That was about 13 years ago. And I was married for 7 months, and it was a disaster, and financially I just couldn't make it on my own, so I moved back in with my mother.
Okay. Any children?
No.
Still in touch with your ex-husband?
No.
What do you do for pleasure? Any things besides your communication with this person whom I understand you don't want to name?
Right,
You prefer
right,
not to,
yeah.
although you talked about him in private before. Any other things that you like to do for pleasure?
Well, no, not really. Most of my time is spent grading papers, doing lesson plans for the next day. But I don't have a lot of friends, so there's not really a lot of people to do anything with.
Okay. No particular symptoms of feeling down or sad or being depressed? That's not part of your life right now?
No, not really.
You get nervous about things?
No,
Anxious?
no,
Not taking any medications right now?
no, no.